liberalism in itself is becoming a religion, essentially. And so why is it affecting the church? Well, because we are treating it, as a religion. Abortion is becoming like the liberal sacrament in some way, right? So it's taking this sort of religious, this cultic approach to it.
Abortion and the most prolific demon in human history, it relishes in human child sacrifice.
Yeah.
So that's pretty
Which
crazy.
one is that?
Moloch.
I thought that was going to be.
Yeah. I mean, he was so prolific in during the Peloponnesian Wars when the Romans got down to Carthage or whatever, and they saw what they were up to. It was so disgusting to even the pagan Romans that they obliterated their society forever.
Whoa.
So that no one would ever even know about what they were up to. We don't even know like what languages they spoke entirely. Like they obliterated them. That's how appalled they were at what they found they were doing for demons. But yeah, it's a crazy thought.
So there are specific named known demons.
Yeah, I mean, so whenever an exorcist performs an exorcism, one of the things that he's meant to do is ascertain the name of the demon. Names have a power, right? I preached about this last week during one of our daily masses, but I give an example, right? You say you're in love with a girl and you hear your name and her voice, right? That has more power than someone else saying your name, right? So having the identity of the demon also tells us a little bit about who this demon is or why they're acting. So that'll be an example.
So I think a lot of people are familiar with Moloch.
Yeah.
There was like, what weren't they going like the Bohemian Grove and worshiping a giant Moloch statue, or what was that?
Yeah. He's that one. And if you look, Hillary Clinton also sacrifices a chicken to Moloch in one of her emails. That's confirmed. You can look it up. I'm not joking. Look it up. She says, I'll sacrifice a chicken to Moloch for you.
Is she joking? Or
no, I don't know what the joke would be.
Lord.
That's crazy. Yeah, look it up. It's wild. Unless I'm on some conspiracy theory stuff, but I'm pretty sure it was real.
Tom Brady's wife supposedly would put these sort of Wiccan altars together in the club level of games whenever he would play. And I remember when he played in New Orleans, one of my friends who works with the Saints, he's a Catholic priest down there, he's like, I felt like I needed to go through the whole Superdome afterwards and bless the whole building because she had been there.
I don't know how to find this.
But as far as like demons with names, demons are also of different orders of power the same way angels are. So angels are more or less powerful. And of course, heaven is organized in a hierarchy because that's how God works. And everyone in the hierarchy serves the people below them because to have power and to be in charge is to serve. That's like the good. And the reverse of that is to dominate. And so evil people who are in charge, they dominate as opposed to what a benevolent king should do, which is to serve. So there are different angels of different ranges of power in order of magnitudes or whatever. And some of the demons are fallen angels who are more or less powerful. And there's like conjecture that Satan was a throne, one of the most powerful choirs of angels, which again makes it so funny that he was smited by Michael, who was of an archangel, which is the second rank, but not supposedly as powerful as Satan, but stepped up to him and was like, bring it on, big boy.
So continuing the topic of the names real quick, so the names of angels tell a bit about their power, right? So Michael means who is like God, right? And he's defending the person of God, right? So the name Lucifer, right, with light bearer, the idea that Satan's original task, right, was to be the one to bear light and truth, right? And so he's doing the total opposite, right? It's darkness and lies and falsity.
So it wasn't Hillary Clinton. It was the email we have from WikiLeaks. I got it pulled up right here. It's Louis Amsalem, who wrote, with fingers crossed, the old rabbit's foot out of the box in the attic, I will be sacrificing a chicken in the backyard to Moloch.
Who did he send that to?
Well, the headers.
Yuma Abedin?
From H.
So this is...
I thought this was one of Hillary's leaked emails.
It says from Anselm.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was a forwarded email, I guess. Unless... It's talking... the email talks about Secretary Clinton. I doubt.
Okay, yeah.
So apparently...
Was it sent to her? So strange. Even the fact that someone is sending emails from a government account saying that they're sacrificing chickens to demons,
Moloch.
probably not great.
Right.
No.
I would like 0 political people in America to be doing any sort of demon worship.
Yeah, that's ideal.
Yeah.
What, they're 1
Here's-
degree separated? That's supposed to make me feel better? It's
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna read this because
Yeah,
I think
please.
the context is interesting and important, so we can understand. Some people are going to dismiss. He was joking, right? He was joking. Here's the email.
Okay.
It says Beale called a little after 1:30 p.m. to say a meeting with the de facto envoys had been abruptly canceled, but for perhaps a positive reason. Micheletti has asked about half the team to return to Tegucigalpa. I don't know how to pronounce that. Corrales stayed. Okay, I'm not going to read through this, but you get the point. It seems very straightforward. The envoy seemed confident they would get M to sign the SJ Accord. Skipping overhead. Just before speaking to me, Beale had spoken with Arias, who expressed cautious optimism that we might have a breakthrough. Arias told Beale to tell us that if that happens, the United States gets more credit. Arias said the U.S. has played the game exactly right with the approximate mix of carrot sticks, toughness, and unified message, even-handedness, and above all, good timing. Once again, this seems like a very straightforward, boring political email. Beale said was extremely complimentary of the great political instincts shown by Secretary Clinton. With fingers crossed, the old rabbit's foot out of the box in the attic, I will be sacrificing a chicken in the backyard to Moloch. I think what the response is going to be is he's saying we want to get these accords signed, and I'm doing literally every superstitious thing I can to make sure it happens.
It's just really wild that the superstitious thing he picked was an accurate use of magic to a demon.
Yeah.
Why do you know how to do magic for a demon?
Right,
Why?
so
The rabbit's foot out of the box inside of the attic is a very specific thing.
But fingers crossed is a Christian symbol, isn't it? Like crossing your fingers is to make a cross with your body.
Superstition is a sin.
Yeah. So, that would
So you don't need superstition. You got Jesus, baby.
Yeah, and even the rabbit's foot, it's like, okay, that's funny, haha. And then he's like,
yeah.
oh, and then like, I don't know, sacrifice a chicken to Moloch. You're like, whoa, dude,
yeah.
that escalated really quick.
I mean,
it also is kind of inappropriate for a work email to be like I'm not gonna go ahead and say I think this is evidence the guy's actually doing it,
right.
but I would say to somebody who was emailing jokes like that, let's be real. I'm not going to go to someone and say, hey, don't put these weird jokes in there. But if it was a common thing, I'd be like, it's probably not appropriate for work to be like making jokes like this when we're talking
Especially-
about
I would,
political accords.
I would be like,
for
I need
government.
to come to your house and see what your chicken situation is
Yeah.
actually before I keep getting these emails.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about Honduras, I guess.
Yeah.
But the thing
Did that
is,
work out? Do we know?
Oh, I don't know. This is from 2009. What a weird thing. So here's the other thing: the cremation of care. Talking about the Bohemian Grove. Apparently, people have gone there and secretly filmed it, and what they say is it's not explicitly that they're worshiping Moloch. They're doing a performance to a Moloch-like deity. But it's all just very weird when you find out that powerful, wealthy people go into the middle of the woods and put on robes and do this kind of weird ceremony. Mm-hmm. And the response you get, the first thing that they said was, this isn't true, it's made up, it's fake, it's a conspiracy theory. And then once the internet started to become a bit more ubiquitous and everybody had access to the videos and the articles, and we knew they actually were going to the Bohemian Grove and doing these kind of rituals, they said, it's a performance. It's like a country club where we do a gag theater show. And it's like, yes, that's still very weird because regular Americans don't do those things.
Yeah.
It is a strange kind of thing to do.
So one of the things that I have to look for, so I don't live in New Orleans, but I live near New Orleans, and so that sort of culture and sort of Haitian and voodoo culture affects the area I live in. But one of the things I have to look for as a priest is when I'm distributing Holy Communion at Mass, right, I have to watch with my peripheral vision to make sure people are actually receiving the host if they're consuming it, because people will want to steal the most blessed sacrament, right, the host, for use in these acts of worship, sort of demonic activity, and it's happened before where I've noticed a man had taken a host and he pocketed it, and so I went after him and got the host from him and consumed it, and then afterwards to go in the park behind the church and see this altar he had erected where he intended to do this ritual. Just this past year, I don't want to say where to protect the identity, but a priest I know that is involved on campus ministry at a major state university discovered that the pledges in a fraternity were told to steal host from the Catholic Church.
Oh, that's crazy. I saw someone try and steal the host on Christmas last year. So our priest had to physically stop him from doing it. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So on Christmas, of all times, at the midnight mass.
Yeah.
So I asked ChatGPT about known demons, and in Christian and Jewish demonology, you've got Lucifer, Beelzebub, Asmodeus, Belial. Is that how you pronounce that? Belial, Mammon, Leviathan, Baal, and Astaroth. In modern culture, Beelzebub just means the devil. This is a different, separate demon?
Yeah, so in the rite of exorcism, a lot of these names are listed sometimes because the priest is told to specifically, command that these demons depart if they're present, that kind of thing. Sometimes we can say that, perhaps sometimes they're used in a term like Leviathan could refer to Lucifer, but it also may be a separate entity and that sort of thing.
People use Leviathan to reference Lucifer. I didn't know that.
Demons also are the whole we are legion, they speak in sort of, a way that intermixes all of them as one being in a mockery of God. That's kind of their whole deal.
It's a mockery of the Trinity.
Yeah. Everything they do is like an inversion. Like that's why so much magic has to do with sex, because sex is supposed to be a part of the sacrament where you selflessly give yourself to another. And when you do that, you're open to creating life together. Whereas magic is using another for yourself in a way that benefits only you and is not open to life in any way. So that's like, it's always a direct mockery of.
What about these other demons? It mentions Pazuzu, Mesopotamian, Near Eastern, Lamashtu. Are you familiar with any of those?
So I'm not familiar with the names themselves, but I mean, Scripture tells us that any of the pagan gods are essentially demons, right?
Yeah.
So if we're looking at Mesopotamian gods, and that's
pagan gods aren't necessarily demons. A lot of pagan gods are just fake stories of people seeking God. But anytime pagans interact directly with a god, that is demonic entity.
And what does it cause, right? So I mentioned I'm in Natchez, Mississippi, right? So the Natchez Indians, who are nearly extinct right now, it's sad, but the Natchez Indians were a extraordinarily gruesome people. And they're one of the only groups in the United States, only Native American groups in the United States that offered human sacrifice. And so that in itself, right, to find a culture that's offering human sacrifice, well, we could say there's demonic influence right there. They even had the practice of if the chief died, they would kill the chief's entire family so that his family would be with him in the afterlife. Right? But that's heavily influenced, right? That's the demonic in many ways, we could say.
It mentions it says other cultural figures. Moloch, child sacrifice, fire, and war. Is Moloch not a Christian known demon, or is?
No, he is. He's well known in the canon. So he's the child sacrifice guy. Yeah. And so the
seems very powerful these days,
Yeah, anytime they would mess up, so what they would do is they would make brass statues of him. He's a human body with a bull's head, and then they would heat the brass statue and put the children while they were still alive and let them slowly roast in his brass hands. And they would scream and they would do rituals. The Romans witnessed this. The Jews witnessed this. I think the Samaritans, there were other people who recorded it. So this is a common thing that goes on for not just like one generation or something, but over the course of hundreds of years in different cultures.
Well, we got on this topic, right, because we were mentioning abortion. Peter Kreeft, who's a Catholic theologian and canon lawyer, he has a quote where he says abortion is the demonic parody of the Eucharist, right?
Yeah.
And it uses the same words with a blasphemous other meaning, right? This is my body, right? And so, yeah, I mean, you can see how Moloch would tie into all of this idea of sacrificing human children, right? They're what are they being sacrificed for? Well, they're being sacrificed ultimately for our individual pleasure.
Yeah. Christ, this is my body given up for you. And then abortion, this is your body given up for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is Odin a demon?
No, he's just a fake guy.
Yeah, fake God.
He's just a pretty cool character.
Yeah.
What's the difference between these like ancient, like the mythologies and these pagan religions? Like, how do you differentiate what's fake and what's actually demonic?
So Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, actually, very interestingly, C.S. Lewis converted because of pagan myths. He was really moved by man's search for God in the pagan myths and thought they were really beautiful and interesting, and he studied them. And Tolkien pointed out to him that all the myths point towards one truth, the true myth. That Christ is a mythology, but it's true, and that's what makes it unique. C.S. Lewis converts and becomes one of the greatest Christian theologians of the modern age. But so yeah, some of these things are just people seeking God and creating religion and trying to understand what we all intuitively know. Before the 2010s or whatever, when like we started to go down this weird path we're all down, normalcy was a thing we all agreed on. We said things were normal. We used the word normal. And what was normal is we all intuitively know there's something going on, right? Ghosts, spirits, the feeling of God, whatever. So Odin is people seeking God and just sort of creating their own myths and figuring it out and creating myths in order to seek him. But Odin doesn't like, there are no like people who have Odin come down and do things for them. They don't interact with him.
I thought that's the story, that Odin makes himself known to people, makes himself visible to people. And when you mentioned when these pagan people actually have an interaction with God, that's demons. So that's Odin came to mind, because that's the stories. He comes and makes himself visible and known to be like he hides amongst the people.
In the Eddas, he comes and visits people and stuff for sure. And in all the pagan gods visit people. That's one of their things, is like who is a god and who's not. But demons are beings that you interact with in order to achieve a material goal in this space-time reality. So Odin was what you thought was God, and he's like a story, but he's not like anyone people are trying to get material things from currently. Whereas Moloch, for all of time, was like, I am a creature, I want you to do X for me, and then you will get Y. Whereas Odin was like, I am this almighty sort of father figure, and I have wisdom, and people were interested in that, or he's a metaphor for all these other things, you know.
Do demons cut deals with people? Because you know, there's you mentioned vexation, obsession, possession. Mm-hmm. Typically, my understanding, which is limited, is like they don't realize they're being influenced by some dark force to do bad things. But are there also instances where the demon whispers to you, I will give you this if you do this thing? Well, I guess the Faustian deals or whatever.
I mean, you can't sell your soul. It's not yours to give away. Yeah. So I can't remember what saint it is that talked about a man who had sold his soul and he's being drugged down to hell, and the angels are like, literally just say no. What are you doing? Say no. And he fell into despair so that he thought he could not be saved because he thought he had sold his soul. The demons had thrown him into such a depression that they convinced him to take him. But the angels were like, literally walk it off. What are you talking about? Like, you're fine, you know, but...
Thanks for watching this clip from the Culture War Podcast. We're live every Friday, 10 a.m. to noon, so subscribe and come hang out.